Even as little as a year ago, you could drive through parts of Daybreak and still see empty land, as well as construction zones and unfinished corners that felt like they were waiting for something. Now fast forward to today, and that same area is being turned into one of the most talked about developments in the entire Utah housing market. We're talking about a brand new downtown, a professional baseball stadium, thousands of new jobs, and a level of growth that is starting to completely reshape South Jordan. So the big question is this: are the home prices in Daybreak and South Jordan about to take off, or is there a real risk that this development creates oversupply and slows things down? Because depending on how this plays out, this could either be one of the best real estate opportunities in Utah right now, or a market where you have to be very strategic. And in this video, I'm gonna break it all down in a way that actually makes sense. No fluff, no hype, just what's happening on the ground and what it means for you. So if you're looking to buy a home in South Jordan, invest in Daybreak, or just trying to stay ahead of what the market is doing in 2026, you're in the right place. Today, we're gonna dive deep into what's actually happening in downtown Daybreak, the impact of the Salt Lake Bees baseball stadium, why jobs and infrastructure matter a lot more than most people think, and most importantly, how this all affects you, your future home values, and future appreciation. And by the end of this video, you'll have a better idea of whether this is a great opportunity or a situation that you need to approach carefully. In order to really understand what's happening right now, you need to zoom out for a second, because Daybreak hasn't really just exploded overnight. This was all completely planned years ago. The entire community was planned as what's called a master planned community. They had a pretty good idea of where everything was gonna be and how everything was gonna go together many years ago. And what that means is, instead of just building homes and then hoping everything fills in later, the vision from the beginning was to create a complete environment where people could work, live, spend time together, all in one place. But here's the thing, for a long time, it didn't feel like that vision had fully arrived yet. If you've lived in Utah for a while, you've probably felt a time where Daybreak felt really spread out and kind of sporadic. You'd have pockets of high density in one area, and then you'd go and see open fields for a long period of time, and then there's another pocket of high density, and it just kind of felt like it was jumbled up and spread out. Now, you still had really great neighborhoods, some nice homes, really great amenities and trails and ponds, things like that, but there wasn't like a true central hub that was pulling everything together. And that's exactly what's changing right now. Downtown Daybreak is finally becoming that missing piece. And when you go through the area today, it feels completely different than it did just a few years ago. You're seeing a lot more mid-rise apartment buildings and condos that bring a lot higher density as well as more activity to the area. You're seeing street-level retail that's walkable. You can walk directly to these different shops and restaurants in the area. These restaurants and gathering spaces give people reason to stay in the area rather than leaving and going somewhere else. And most importantly, you're seeing energy. You're seeing activity. There's movement, there's traffic, there's people actually using these spaces. And that might sound simple, but when it comes to real estate, that's everything. Because areas don't become valuable just because they exist. They become valuable because people want to be there. So now let's talk about the biggest catalyst that's behind all this transformation. It's the new home of the Salt Lake Bees. At first glance, it's easy to think, oh yeah, cool, it's a baseball stadium, but how much does that really matter? It actually matters a lot more than people realize. Because developments like this don't just create entertainment or, a fun night out at the baseball park. They create consistency. Just think about how often something is happening at a baseball stadium like this. You have dozens of home games throughout the season, and every single one of those games brings thousands of people. But it doesn't stop there. People don't just come to the games, show up and leave. They come early, they stay after, they tend to explore the area. They grab food, they walk around, they shop, and they spend money locally. Now layer that on top of things like concerts, events, community gatherings. Now you've turned one location into a year-round destination. And here's why that really matters for real estate. When an area becomes a destination, it attracts businesses. Businesses bring jobs, and jobs bring people. And people create a housing demand. It's a chain reaction, and now we're really starting to see that reaction take place in Daybreak. So let's take a step back further and take a look at all the numbers behind all of this, because this is where things really start to connect. Right now, Daybreak already has around 20,000 homes and over 30,000 residents. That alone is a pretty substantial community, but it's not done growing, not even close. As the downtown area continues to build out, it's expected to create thousands of jobs, around 9,000 of them tied to this development alone. And as I mentioned, job growth is one of the most powerful drivers in any housing market, because when jobs increase in an area, people naturally want to live closer to where they work. And that creates what we call a localized demand. Instead of people spreading out across an entire valley, they start to focus on one specific area. And when that happens, you typically see higher demand for homes nearby, more competition among buyers, stronger rental demand from those that aren't ready to buy yet. Now combine that with something else that's already happening in Utah. We already have a housing shortage. There are projections that Utah could be short hundreds of thousands of homes over the next few decades if building doesn't keep up. So even though Daybreak is building homes aggressively, it's not just adding supply, it's helping meet demand that already exists. And that's a very important distinction. Now let's talk about something that doesn't always get the spotlight, but might actually be one of the most important pieces of the puzzle, and that's the infrastructure. Because one of the reasons that Daybreak is positioned so differently than a lot of other developments is because of how intentional that the planning has been. You're not just seeing a bunch of homes go up, you're seeing connectivity. There's a TRAX light rail stop right in the middle of downtown Daybreak. That means that people can commute without relying entirely on a car. You have Mountain View Corridor that improves north to south access. You've got trails, walkable layouts, and integrated design. And all of that changes how people live. Instead of driving 20 to 30 minutes to get anywhere, people can stay local. They can work, eat, and spend time nearby. And that creates a stronger local economy. And from a real estate perspective, areas that are easy to live in tend to be more desirable over time. And that desirability is what drives long-term appreciation. All right, so let's bring this all together, because this is the part that really matters the most. What happens to home prices in South Jordan and Daybreak because of all of this? There are two major forces that are working here at the same time. The first is demand. You've got population growth, job creation, and lifestyle appeal, all increasing interest in this area. And that, of course, puts upward pressure on the prices. The second, of course, is supply, because a lot of homes are being built. If you drive through there right now, there is construction everywhere. And when supply increases, it can slow down appreciation, at least in certain segments. So what you tend to end up with is not a simple market, but a very layered one. The homes that are closest to the downtown core, the ones that are near the stadium, the restaurants, and the walkable areas, those are likely to see stronger demand and potentially stronger appreciation over time. Meanwhile, homes that are further out or in areas with more competition from the new home building might see a little bit more moderate growth. And this is where strategy becomes so important, because not all real estate performs the same, even within the same community. So looking ahead, the trajectory here is pretty clear. The area is continuing to grow. More development is coming. More businesses are moving here, and the identity of Daybreak is shifting. It's no longer just a suburban neighborhood, it's becoming a destination, and possibly a second downtown for the southwest corner of the Salt Lake Valley. So here's the bottom line. Daybreak and South Jordan are in the midst of a major transformation, and opportunities like this don't come around very often. But at the same time, this isn't a market where you just want to guess. You want to be informed, strategic, and intentional. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in this area, I would love to help you every step of the way. I'm gonna go ahead and put all my contact information in the description below. You can book a call with me, visit my website and begin searching homes, or just reach out if I can help in any way. If you found any value in this video, be sure to hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel. I plan on posting videos every single week pertaining to Utah real estate. And be sure to check out this video to continue learning more. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.